Greetings, mighty companions. Anna Kujawa here, and we are doing A Course in Miracles, the Complete and Annotated Edition. So the Complete and Annotated Edition of A Course in Miracles is the latest edition of A Course in Miracles, and as I refer to it, the most original edition of A Course in Miracles. So this edition is different from the first two editions of A Course in Miracles in that there was 45,000 words that came through the scribe Helen Schuckman that were left out of the first two editions.
Cool.
This edition of A Course in Miracles includes those 45,000 words, and it makes for a very different and interesting read of A Course in Miracles. And so that's why I decided to do a class just on this edition, because there's so much that was left out that is so amazing. I wanted to learn the new material. So what I've learned from A Course in Miracles is that if you want to learn something, you got to teach it. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. That's how I learned it. So tonight it's going to talk about how if you want to learn something, you're going to have to teach it. Chloe. So this is me wanting to learn the original material, and so I must teach it. So that's what I'm going to do. So the section that we are in chapter 4 in the Complete and Annotated Edition. We are in chapter 4, section 2, the Devoted Teacher. All right. So this is A Course in Miracles, the Complete and Annotated Edition, which is a... Greg, may I see your edition? I want to show people what it looks like. Okay. So this is what this edition of A Course in Miracles, this is what it looks like. And you can find this on Amazon. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be teaching out of tonight. On Mondays I teach out of the first two edited editions. This is the most original and unedited edition of A Course in Miracles. This is what I'm teaching from tonight. So, all right. And I am teaching again in front of a live studio audience. All right, let's hear it. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. And welcome all you. Les, thank you. To learn something, you have to teach it. That goes for you too, Les. So, and I've met you, Les, so I know what I'm talking about. So here we go. So we are in chapter 4, section 2 in the Complete and Annotated Edition of A Course in Miracles. And this section is called the Devoted Teacher. All right, the Devoted Teacher. So when I posted this on Facebook, what I said was, this is for all the folks who have been called to share the higher ideas of love and truth, but who have fears about showing up and extending these higher ideas of love and truth. So you know who you are. You know who you are. Have you been called to share these higher ideas of love and truth, but have some fear about doing so? So you know who you are. So if you are one of those who have been called to share this higher ideal of truth and love through A Course in Miracles, but you have some concerns about that. Oh, there's plenty of other Course in Miracles teachers. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, I have worries. I have concerns. People won't hear what I'm saying. If you have been called to do that, but yet you have fears or worries or concerns about doing that, this is for you.
For me.
So this is for you.
Yep.
And for you. Woo-hoo. And for me. Okay, so have you been called to share your experience of a higher love and a higher truth, but yet you are concerned about your ability and your readiness to do so? Well, then this is for you. This is called the Devoted Teacher. Okay. So it's it's chapter 4, section 2 of A Course in Miracles, the Complete and Annotated Edition. So it says, we have spoken of many different human symptoms. Many different human symptoms. How many different human symptoms are we talking about? So many. Well, at this level, there is almost endless variation of human symptoms. Human symptoms of what? Fear. There is an almost endless variation of symptoms of fear. Fear. And which is symptoms. Different human symptoms. Oh, I've come to you, teacher of God, Dr. Annie. Oh, well, you are suffering from one of the many varieties of human symptoms. Oh, I'm having a human symptom. Yes, you're having a human symptom of fear. And at this level, there's almost an endless variation of human symptoms.
Is there a prescription for this?
Yes, there is. I'm so glad you asked. And since you asked if there's a prescription for these human symptoms, I'm going to tell you that there is a prescription for it, and it's free.
Oh, I don't have to go to a pharmacist?
You don't. And you don't have to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
I like that.
Me too. All right. But there is only one cause for all of the many different human symptoms. You have a symptom? Oh, you have one of the many different human symptoms of fear. That's what's going on. But there's only one cause for all of your symptoms. There's only one cause for all of your many different symptoms. What kind of symptoms? Human symptoms. I have some human symptoms. Okay? And it says there's a almost endless variation, but there is only one cause for all of the human symptoms. And what is that? The authority problem. Oh, you have what symptom? Oh my goodness. Oh, you have that symptom? Oh. And you have that symptom? Oh. And you have that symptom? Oh. There's only one cause for these almost endless what? Variation of human symptoms. There's only one cause for all of your human symptoms. Now, this is the reason I'm doing this book, because in this book it talks about all the variation of human symptoms, but for whatever reason this was edited out of the first 2 editions. So here it's telling us we have an almost endless variation of human symptoms. And then it's saying, oh, you're suffering from a human symptom. Oh, you're suffering from a variation of the human symptoms. All right, and there's seemingly an endless variation of human symptoms. Well, what is the one cause for all the variations of the human symptoms? What is it? It's the authority problem. It's the authority problem.
My mama tried to tell me that.
Yeah, it's the authority problem. You may have thought it was like, oh, it's my upbringing. Oh, it's my genetics. Oh, it's this. I have this. I have the genetic blueprint for breast cancer. No, it's the human symptoms. And the one cause for all of the what? The different human symptoms is the authority problem. Not money. Not money. It says the authority problem is the so-called root of all evil. So what is the root? I learned that root of all evil was money.
That's what the Bible said.
That's what the Bible said. So, and lots of sources have said that the root of all evil is money. Course in Miracles says that's not the root of all evil. The root of all evil is the authority problem. Now, what is the authority problem? It's the idea that I created myself and my identity is up to me to decide who I am, what I am. That's up to me to decide. That's up to me to create. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to work to create who and what I am. Course in Miracles calls that the authority problem. And that is the root of all evil. It is not money. Okay, so that is not the root of all evil. The root of all evil is, I know what I am, and it's up to me to decide. And I'm.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and it doesn't solve my problem, so I'm still in hell. Okay. It says the authority problem is the root of all evil. What's the authority problem? Authority problem is, I think who and what I am is up to me to decide. And that's my problem. Now, it says this. Money is but one of the authority problem's many reflections. And money is a reasonably representative example of the kind of thinking which stems from the authority problem. What do you mean? Course in Miracles, if you don't know what it's saying, just keep reading. In other words, the idea of buying and selling implies precisely the kind of exchange that the spirit cannot understand at all. So, what is it? The idea of buying and selling is what? Implies precisely the kind of exchange that the spirit cannot understand at all. Why? Because the spirit's own supply is always abundant, which means all of the spirit's demands are fully met. So it says money. It says what? The idea of money is the idea of buying and selling. The idea of buying and selling, which is precisely the kind of exchange the spirit cannot understand. So in the ego world, there's the idea of buying and selling. And the money is the root of all evil. So in the world, in the ego's thinking, it's all about buying. Oh, if I give you this, then you give me that. And if you give me this, then I get this. And if I give this, then I receive that. That's the root of all evil. I give you some of this, and you give me some of that. And I give you some of this, and you give me some of that. We're going to make a deal. And it's an exchange. I give you this, and because I gave you that, I deserve that. That is the root of all evil. If only I give you this, I receive this. So, it says that is the root of all evil. And the spirit does not understand that thinking at all. Spirit isn't like, oh, I will give you some of this, but then you got to give me some of that. And only if you give me this do you deserve some of this. That is not how spirit or God thinks at all. God doesn't think like that at all. God doesn't think like exchange. Bargaining. That's bargaining. I give you some of this, you give me some of that. Spirit doesn't think like that at all.
Probably where the word bartering comes from.
That's where bargaining. Only the ego barters. Only the ego bargains. Our whole economic system is based on bargaining, bartering. I sacrifice this, you give me that. It's a bargain. And all the relationships in the world are based on that. Of course, in Miracles says spirit, which means God, does not think like that at all. God and spirit and all the universe doesn't think like that. Spirit and the universe as God created is like, are you a child of God? Then I give it all to you. Okay, I have it all. So it says that the authority problem is the root of all evil. The authority problem is where that whole bargaining and bartering belief system comes into play. Okay? That's the root of all evil. What's the root of all evil? Well, I only have, if I give. I only have as much as I've given to others. That's the root of all evil. Lack.
You would only bargain if you thought you needed anything.
Exactly. You only barter or bargain if you think you need something but don't have it or don't deserve it. And that's the root of all evil. So the root of all evil is not money. The root of all evil is the authority problem, which tells you that, you don't deserve it all. You're going to have to give up something to get something. That's the root of all evil. So the root of all evil is this: I don't deserve it all as a child of God. And only as I sacrifice this do I deserve that. That's the root of all evil. So it says money is just one of evil's many reflections, and money is a reasonably representative example of the kind of thinking which stems from the root of all evil. The idea of buying and selling implies precisely the kind of exchange that the spirit cannot understand at all. Why? Because the spirit's own supply is always abundant, and all of spirit's demands are fully met. So spirit is never like, oh, I'll give you some of this, if you give me some of that, only if you give me some of that, I'll give you some of that. The spirit doesn't understand that at all. Why? Because the spirit's like, hey man, all of my demands, all of my needs are met. That's it. That's it. I don't need to be like doing leveraging, bargaining, leveraging, bargaining, leveraging, bargaining, buying, selling, leveraging, bargaining. Spirit doesn't have anything to do with that. Because Spirit's like, I have everything I need. I'm good. I'm good. We don't need to make a deal. Ego's like, let's make a deal.
Now it makes sense to me. In the Bible it says that, and I'm pretty sure this is Jesus speaking.
Okay. and check him on that.
Yeah, check him on it.
Check him on it.
But he said in the last days it will be as in the days of Noah, for they will be buying and selling.
Yes.
And I always wondered what was that about? We're always doing that. But I think it's the reference is, what's the last days when you stop doing that anymore?
Yes.
In the last days,
Yes.
they were bartering.
Exactly.
They were still bargaining.
They were, yes,
buying
exactly.
and selling.
Exactly. Buying and selling.
They were sacrificing.
Yes.
Giving.
Buying and selling, which means sacrificing. I got to give up this to have that. Well, the Course in Miracles is saying that that's the root of all evil. I got to give up something to get something. And if you got to give up something to get something, well, that's evil. Now evil comes into play. Okay? Because evil's going to be like trying to work it. Trying to work that scheme. So the Course in Miracles says that when you are in spirit, there's no like, what am I going to give up to get? What do I have to give up to get something? Always working an angle, always working the scheme. When you are in reality, when you're in spirit, you don't have to be like, oh, what am I going to give up to get that? You don't have to be that bargaining, scheming, plotting, all of that. Only in the ego, which means the false truth, false belief system, are you having to be like thinking and scheming and working and to get something. Okay? So if you are in the belief system of truth, there's no scheming, there's no bargaining, there's no like, what do I have to give up to get that? There's none of that. So when you come into truth, when you come into a belief system that's based on truth, not illusion, there's going to be no bargaining, there's going to be no scheming, there's going to be no, what do I have to give up in order to gain this? So if you are in that, remember, you are in something that is not the truth. You are in something that is illusion. You are in a illusionary belief system that will only lead to pain. So remember, the root of all evil is this. What idea is? In order to get something, I will have to sacrifice something. So I guess I'll give up something in order to gain something. That is the root of all evil. if you are in a relationship where that seems to be the only way to get something, guess what? You're about to be experiencing not love, not reality, but, quote, evil, meaning something that's not true, won't last, and won't produce love and peace and abundance. Oh no, did she just say that? Oh, I wish she hadn't said that, because I'm in one of those relationships you may have thought. So, yes, we're going to say that? Okay, so it's not money that's the root of all evil. It's not money. What is it? It's a belief system that you got to give up something in order to gain something. That's the root of all evil. Yes?
In the beginning, you said it's the root of all evil is the authority problem.
Yes.
So how do you connect those two?
Thank you. So the root of all evil really is the authority problem. So it's like this. If the authority problem is like this. I am my own source, and so it's up to me to figure it all out, to have what I need, to get what I need. And so when you know the truth, you realize that it's not up to you to figure it all out and to get your needs met. And so if it's not up to you to figure out how to get all your needs met because you are not your source, then you don't need to do the bargaining deal. Now you don't have to have relationships where it's like, well, if I give up this, then maybe you'll give me this, and then I have what I want. In the authority problem, when you acknowledge and recognize that you are not your own authority, you are not your own creator. You have been created. Now you don't have to worry about all that. When you remember and accept what A Course in Miracles is teaching, that you are not your own author, you are not your own creator, and you have a creator. Now when you have a need, you can go to your creator. And you can go, Creator, I think I need some money. Creator, I think I need some love. Creator, I think I need some of this. Creator, I think I need some healing. And you can go to your creator for that. Okay? And when you go to your creator for that, your creator says, awesome! All I have is yours. There you go. Okay? So when you go to your creator for what you think you need, whether it's love or abundance or support or whatever, or money or whatever, when you go to your creator, when you go to your source, which is love, and you say, I think I need some of this, I think I need some of that, I think I need some of this, I think it's like that. Your creator goes, awesome, here you go, boom. Now, when you are going to yourself for what you need, oh, I need some money, I need some support, I need some abundance, I need some value, I need some, when you go to yourself for that, here's what yourself says. Okay, Anna, well, if you'll give up some of this, then you can get some of that. Go find somebody you can make a deal with. Go find somebody where you can give up your freedom or your innocence, and then they'll give you some of what you think you need. So you see the authority problem? Okay. So when I think I am my source, I'm going to go to myself, which is going to tell me, you better give up something to get something. That's the way it goes here. But then when you go, that's my authority problem. When I remember I'm not my own authority, I didn't create myself. And then you go to your source and you go, I think I need some money. I think I need some sustenance. I think I need some whatever. Then your source goes, all I have is yours. Are you willing to accept? Yes? Okay, great. There it is. No sacrifice. When you turn to yourself as the authority, your ego self is always going to be like, oh, you're going to have to make a deal to have some of that. Recognize that? And when you go to your ego for what you need, your ego's going to go, you're going to have to make a deal for that. You're going to have to make a deal with the devil. In other words, you're going to have to make a deal with specialists. When you go to yourself, then it's always going to be like, well, you're going to have to give up this to get some of that. When you go to your source, then your source is going to say, listen, you can have it all for your simple request. Do you want it all? Yes, I do. Okay, here you go. Boop. So, authority problem. So the authority problem, it depends on whether you experience real and true abundance or whether you experience lack. in the name of love. So does that answer your question?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it says money is just, the idea of buying and selling implies precisely the kind of exchange that the spirit cannot understand at all. Why? Because the spirit's own supply is always abundant and all of the spirit's demands are fully met. So when you're talking about the spirit, there's no supply and demand, buying and selling. That idea of supply and demand and buying and selling, that idea of abundance is completely ego. When you're like dealing in the spirit realm and spirit ideas and spirit truths, there's none of that. There's no like, oh, you know, supply and demand and buying and selling and bargaining. That is all ego realm. That is the authority problem.
The root of all evil.
That's the root of all evil.
And where's roots hidden under the
Yes,
ground?
exactly. That's the root. The root of all evil is this. You want to get something, you got to sacrifice something. That's the root of all evil. And the truth is this. Well, there's no buying and selling, compromising, sacrificing, bargaining. There's none of that in reality. You know, in reality, in the spirit realm, in the realm of truth, there's no like you got to give up something to have something at all. You know, the root of all evil is, well, you know, you don't have enough and you don't have to give up something to get something because you don't have enough as it is. You know, you don't deserve it all, so you're going to have to give up something. So what are you going to give up for love or for money or for security? That is the root of all evil.
It makes you wonder why we teach in a lot of our religions a God of bartering.
Yeah.
You say this prayer and I'll do this.
Yes,
If you
exactly.
don't do that, I'll do that.
Exactly.
And you bring in all your tithes into the storehouse, and if you do, I'll give you back
Yes.
sometimes 10, 30, and sometimes even 60-fold.
Maybe.
If I really like you.
Yes, right, exactly. Yes, in our religions and also in our relationships, it's all about bartering. If you do this, I'll do that. If you do this, if you give up this, then you can receive that. It's in our religions and it's in our relationships. It's all about bartering and sacrifice. Bartering and sacrifice. That's the root of all evil. Bartering and sacrifice. And unfortunately, our religions have been based on that, and so have our relationships been based on that.
The whole world.
The whole world, as we know it, has been based on that. Yes. That's the root of all evil. Bartering and sacrifice. Whereas the truth is this. The truth is that our Creator says, all I have is yours. Do you want it? Do you want it? No? Okay, I'll hold it for you. Do you want it now? Yeah? Okay, awesome. Whoosh. That's how love is. Love doesn't barter. Love isn't based on sacrifice and compromise and bargaining. Truth, your inheritance as a child of God has nothing to do with bartering or sacrifice at all. It's like this. The Course in Miracles teaches us that our Creator has given us everything, period, because of who we are. Just like we, as loving, wise parents, we're not like, have you been a good child? No. Oh, sorry, you can't have your inheritance. If you're a loving, wise parent, you set it up where your child benefits from whatever you have, whether they've been a good child or a bad child. And so our Creator is just like that. Our Creator says, all I have is yours, period. That's the law of creation. And so that's the truth. Anything besides that is of the ego. It's bartering. It's compromise. It's sacrifice. You got to do this to have some of that. Love doesn't work like that. Love doesn't work like that. Love doesn't say, if you do this, then you can have that. And our Creator is real love. And so our Creator isn't saying to us, if you act like this, if you act like that, then you can have this. Our Creator is real love, which says, all I have is yours. Do you want it?
And we don't have to wait for our Creator to die to get that inheritance.
And you don't have to wait for your Creator to die to receive your inheritance. Our Creator is saying, do you want it all? You do? Great. How about now? And how about now? And how about now? Okay. So the root of all evil is what? This whole idea of sacrifice and barter and exchange. You got to do this in order to be worthy of that. Only the ego, which is evil. Evil. Only the ego, which is evil, which of course has this illusion, says, well, you know, you got to do that to earn that. Only the ego, which is evil, would say that. That's the root of all evil. So the root of all evil is this whole idea of bargaining and exchange. So whenever that whole idea of bargaining and exchange and sacrifice comes up, what is it? It's not love. It's not real. That's not real love. That's not truth. So if anybody comes around and tells you, well, if you want my love, then you gotta do da-da-da. And if you don't do such and such, you can't have my love. Then you know that's not real love. And if you hear any philosophy that says, well, unless you sacrifice, unless you give up da-da-da, unless you do da-da, unless you behave like this, unless you sacrifice like that, then only then can you have love. That's not real love. It's actually evil. It's actually the root of all evil.
Call it what it is.
Call it what it is. Call it what it is. So what does real love do?
Give freely.
It gives freely.
And everything.
No demands, no sacrifice, no compromise, no bargains.
Doesn't withhold.
Now, if you are doing bargains, which we all are still doing, you can have my love if. I'll give you my love if. You can have my love if. If you are still doing that, then just remember that what you are giving is not real love. And that's your call for love. It's a call for love. No guilt, no sin, no shame. Just, oh, that's my call for love. I don't know how to love completely yet. So, no sin, no shame. But I don't know how to love for real yet. I am learning and I want to learn. All right. So then it says, every symptom which the ego has made involves a contradiction in terms. And this is because the mind is split between the ego and the spirit. My mind is split between ego and spirit. The mind is split between ego and spirit. And so, whatever your ego makes is incomplete and contradictory. Consider, for example, what a speechless professor means as a concept. Well, a speechless professor literally means a non-professing professor or a non-speaking speaker. Untenable positions such as this are the result of the authority problem, which, because the authority problem accepts the one inconceivable thought as its premise, can only produce ideas which are inconceivable. Say what? This is one of the paragraphs that was taken out of the first two editions of A Course in Miracles.
I wonder why.
Gee, I wonder why. All right. So, what we're saying is that whatever comes out of your ego is going to be an oxymoron. Okay. Are you an oxymoron? Okay. Whatever comes from the ego is going to be a concept that contradicts itself. An oxymoron is a concept, is an idea of two things being combined that cancel each other out. Like, for instance, a family vacation. Okay. At least that's what I always say. Yeah. A family vacation, an oxymoron. Two concepts that cancel each other out. Okay. So, but aside from that, an oxymoron is also, it's two concepts being combined that cancel each other out, like this. For instance, a hateful love. Okay, have you ever heard this? You only hate the ones you love. Have you ever heard that? You only hate the ones you love. Right. That's an oxymoron. That's where you've put two concepts that cancel each other out together. And that's the best that an ego can do, is to come up with concepts that cancel each other out. I only love you because I hate you. I only hate you because I love you. That's an oxymoron. And what's another concept? They say here's another oxymoron: a non-professing professor. So someone who's a professor, who's supposed to be professing, but they don't profess. Okay? It's, in other words, a non-speaking speaker. Okay? Anybody relate to that? Okay. My function is to be a speaker. That's my job. I'm here to be a speaker. I'm here to be a teacher, but I don't want to speak. Okay? It says that is an oxymoron, and that's all the ego does. And that is what we are. It says whatever the ego makes is an oxymoron. Okay? So and now I want to tell you that I'm going to give you the note that Robert Perry speaks to. The non-professing professor, who could that be? Well, that was Bill Thetford. Bill Thetford. So Bill Thetford was a professor. Do y'all know that? So Bill Thetford, who helped Helen Schuckman to receive this particular material, well, Bill Thetford was a professor, but he was afraid of public speaking, right? And so Bill Thetford was an associate professor of medical psychology, but he had a fear of public speaking. And so Bill was the speechless professor. And it says it's an oxymoron that results from combining speechless and professing. Needless to say, not everyone has Bill's fear of speaking and teaching. For that reason, this section will not be entirely applicable to everyone. But I think it is. Okay, so in other words, here we have all of these teachers of truth who are afraid to speak the truth. Okay, does that relate to you? Okay, are you one of them?
Who's she talking about?
Who is she talking about?
You.
Okay, you say him and he says you. Okay, well, who is it? Okay, well, I know it's me.
Right.
Okay, it's all of us. Okay, so A Course in Miracles is saying that it's setting up the next portion of what it's about to talk about. And so it's talking to us who are teachers of truth, who are afraid to speak the truth. Okay, we're supposed to be teachers of truth, but yet I'm afraid of public speaking. I'm afraid of speaking. You know, you're a teacher of truth, but yet you're afraid to speak the truth? What's up with that? That's an oxymoron. Okay, so now it's letting us know that in the ego's realm, then those who are supposed to speak the truth are afraid to speak, and that's us. Okay, because can anybody not relate to that? Right. So we're all supposed to be, here we are, teachers of truth, teachers of love, But yet, what are we doing? Oh, I don't feel good today, or I'm not that good of a public speaker. Oh, there's plenty of Course in Miracles teachers. There's plenty of truth speakers out there. Oh, the world doesn't need another one. I'm not that good at it. Oh, my Wi-Fi isn't working. That's my favorite. That's just another version of the authority problem, according to A Course in Miracles. So that is a symptom of the authority problem. Okay. So since I think that I am the authority, since I think I created myself, now I'm afraid to speak. Since I think I am my own authority, I am the one for whom, all this is coming from, now I'm afraid to speak. So teachers of truth are supposed to be doing what?
Teaching?
Speaking. Speaking. Expressing. Teachers of truth are supposed to be expressing. Now, why is it that teachers of truth are not expressing? They're not teaching. They're not
Scared.
because they're scared. Why? Because they are still suffering from the authority problem. I'm afraid to go blah and speak the truth because I am still suffering from the authority problem. I still think I am my own authority.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm afraid to teach A Course in Miracles because I still think that it's my teaching.
Wow.
And so I don't want to teach A Course in Miracles because it's me. A Course in Miracles is like, no, that's you suffering from the authority problem, thinking that it's supposed to come from you. Mm-hmm. It's all you, and it's all in you. Mm-hmm. So A Course in Miracles says that the teachers of truth, that teachers who want to experience and accept the truth for themselves, the way that they do that is to teach it. But teachers of truth are often like, oh, I'm afraid to speak. I'm afraid to say what I'm hearing. I'm afraid to speak the truth. Why? Well, because people might not accept it. And people might think I'm crazy, or they might think I'm stupid, or I might look stupid. They might not hear what I'm saying. My fear of speaking the truth to people is me forgetting that it's not coming from me. My fear of speaking the truth is my misperception that it's coming from me. And so when I think it's coming from me, I'm not going to feel comfortable speaking it. I know. So that is our fear of teaching.
And I don't have time.
Yeah, I don't have time. My Wi-Fi, I don't know what it is. My tech is so bad. It's such a it takes so much to do one of these, and then it's never right, and then it's blurry, and then and then what if my family hears? They're gonna think I'm crazy, and they're gonna cut me out of the will, and they're not gonna like me anymore. And when people hear this, they're gonna not blah 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 blah. Excuse. Fear of teaching, which is my authority problem, which is me thinking that what I'm saying is up to me to decide, and it's coming from me.
Wow.
That's the authority problem. And so it's talking about those who are the teachers, the healers for the world, who are concerned about what they say, and they're concerned about how they say it, and they're concerned about how it's going to be received, when really that is the salvation of the planet. Those who are the salvation of the planet's been put in the hands of the teachers, and they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. People might not like what I'm saying. My family may reject me. I might not sound really good. My video might not be good enough. It might be blurry. I don't know. Blah, blah. That is the result of the authority problem. Like, who's the authority here? Is this shit coming from you or is it coming from God? Are you doing your thing or are you doing God's work? So it's combining the authority problem and our fear to teach.
Which requires trust.
Which requires
The
trust.
foundation of the teacher.
That's right. The
First-
foundation
the first
of the teacher.
foundational thing for the teacher of God as one of their characteristics, not
right.
for them to learn, but it's the characteristics of the teacher.
Exactly.
Is trust.
That's right. The first thing that a teacher of truth has got to develop is trust. Trust in what? Trust that's like this. Listen, if you're willing, Spirit will do it through you.
Really?
And that's the trust that we have to develop. Because we're still suffering from this. Well, I have to figure out what to say. And I have to make it sound good. And I have to figure out how to get it to people. And I have to figure out how the freaking video thing works. That is the manifestation of a lack of trust. I gotta figure out what to say. I gotta figure out how to say it. I gotta figure out the freaking video technical thing here. And unless I can do that, I'm not gonna do it. That is the authority problem that we are suffering from. And of course, in Miracles is saying that, listen, the healing of planet Earth depends on you. You. But we're sitting there going, well, and I don't, I don't sound good. And what if people don't like it? And what if I can't figure out the audio visual thing? And what if my family thinks I'm weird and cuts me off and blah, 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 blah. And so we, who are the ones through which the healing of mankind occurs, are being like, oh, I can't do it. I don't look right. I don't sound right. I don't know. What do people think? Blah, blah. That's the authority problem, which is keeping the healing from being extended to planet Earth. So, that's why the title of this section is called The Devoted Teacher or The Devoted Healer. A devoted healer goes, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to work this freaking tech stuff. I may be cut off from my family. They all may think I'm crazy and weird. I don't look right. I'm having a bad hair day. And I will do it anyway.
Your hair looks fabulous.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, and believe me, my ego has plenty of days said, F it, your hair doesn't look right and you can't get the audio visual going on here. It's blurry. Like, last Monday's class, it was very inspired for me, but it was totally blurry video-wise, and I could hear my ego going, F it. F it! Just F it! It's like if the audio visual wasn't good enough, or my hair wasn't good enough, or whatever, my ego is ready to go F it. F it. Oh, there's plenty of other spiritual teachers. Oh, there's plenty of other Course in Miracles teachers. Who cares anyway about you? Well, that is an authority. That's a result of the authority problem. And A Course in Miracles is saying that that until you take your function of teaching, then you will never learn. And the Course in Miracles goes, teaching equals learning. Teaching equals learning, and it happens through you. So it's wanting us to understand about all the defenses. All the defenses. Here we are, we're the light of the world. It's up to you, teachers of truth, teachers of love. But what are we doing as teachers of love? Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm not the best. Oh, there's others who'll do it. Oh, the audio visual. Oh, my hair doesn't look right. Oh, I don't feel good today. Oh, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of other people. Blah, 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 blah. So this section is for you. It's for all of us for whom the healing of planet Earth depend upon, who are telling ourselves, oh, I can't do it unless blah, 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 blah. It's up to me. It's coming from me. It's up to me. It's up to me. And if I'm not doing it okay, then F it. Okay? And so, all right, how are we doing on time? All right. All right. Demi says, Anna, you just shut down the house by that statement. What I'm saying is coming from me. Nope, coming from ego. Right on, Demi. Thank you. And Allie Nicole, awesome, beautiful. And Robert Acosta Jr. Hi, Robert. Awesome. Okay. Can you all relate to what I'm talking about, teachers of truth? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, now we're on paragraph 3. And I appreciate y'all's feedback. And I appreciate your questions. Thank you. So, paragraph number 3. The term profess is used in the Bible, but in a somewhat different context. To profess is to identify with an idea and offer the idea to others to be their own. Okay, so that's what profess means. What is it? I do what? I identify with an idea and I share it with others. I offer it to others to be their own, like this. I am innocent child of God, and now I'm going to offer it to others to be their idea. I'm going to identify with the idea of guiltlessness, sinlessness, spirit, and then I'm going to offer it to other people to be their own idea. That's what it really means to profess. The idea that I'm professing does not lessen thereby. The idea that I'm professing, here's the idea that I want to believe in. Do you want to believe it as your idea? And it says that idea doesn't lessen. That idea becomes stronger. So by professing what you want to accept, that's how your ideas become stronger. Do you want the ideas of A Course in Miracles to become stronger for you? I do.
I do.
Okay, you gotta profess them.
Really?
And I don't want to profess them. People might think I'm crazy. People might think I'm weird. I'm not very good at public speaking. I'm afraid of public speaking. My family might think I'm weird and cut me off. I'm afraid of professing. I don't want to profess. But it's only by professing your ideas do they become stronger. See, I don't want to hear that. It's saying the only way to make your ideas become stronger is to profess them, which means to share them. But it's talking about us who are afraid to profess our ideas. Like, I want the idea of abundance and sinlessness and guiltlessness and freedom. I really want them to be stronger in my life, but I don't want to share them because people think I'm weird. My family might hear these videos and might cut me off. So I don't want to profess them. I don't want to share them. But it's saying that that is the only way that your ideas become stronger. Right, so a teacher is someone who clarifies their own ideas and then strengthens their ideas by teaching them, which means strengthening them, which means sharing them, which means demonstrating them. So if you want, so teachers are people who do what? They share their ideas. They share their ideas because that's the only way that they become stronger. But notice that it's talking to us who are like, I don't want to share them. I don't want to profess them. I would just prefer to just keep them private. When I first started studying Course in Miracles, long time ago, this is before the Course in Miracles became digital. I always covered my Course in Miracles book. I was in college at the time, or before it was in high school and then college. I took my course book and I covered it so that nobody would see that I was reading Course in Miracles book. I was really afraid that people would know what I was reading.
Wow.
I hid my Course in Miracles book for years. You know, I was already in college and high school where you cover your books.
Mm-hmm.
I covered my book. And then I learned about, oh, there's book covers. I covered my book. I was afraid to profess what I was studying, not realizing that that was me not ready and willing for my ideas to become stronger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it says, so the teacher, meaning the demonstrator, they clarify their own ideas and then they strengthen them by teaching them, which means strengthening them or demonstrating them. And so this is speaking to us who are like, but I don't want to demonstrate, I don't want to share my ideas because people are going to think I'm weird, they're going to cut me off or whatever. It says, but teacher and pupil, therapist and patient are all alike in the learning process. What does that mean? That means teacher and pupil, therapist and patient, they are in the same order of learning. And so, unless the teacher and pupil, the therapist and the patient share their lessons, they will lack conviction. So, A Course in Miracles is saying that teacher and pupil, therapist and patient, unless they both agree, we both crazy, we both need these ideas equally, then that teacher is not going to learn, and neither will the pupil. That therapist will not learn, neither will their patient, until we go, we need these ideas equally. I am a teacher, I am a therapist, you are my student, you are my pupil, you are my patient. We share our need for these ideas. Just because I'm a teacher and just because I'm a therapist doesn't mean I don't need them. I need them and you need them, and we need them the same. Just because I'm a teacher or a therapist doesn't mean I have accepted them. It doesn't. The reason I'm a teacher and a therapist or a healer, according to Course in Miracles, is because I need them. I'm not a teacher and a therapist because I've mastered them. I'm a teacher and a therapist because I need them. And unless I, as a teacher and a therapist, share those ideas with my pupils or my patients and go, look, we have the same need here. Unless I do that, then neither of us are going to get it. Neither of us are going to benefit. So, as a teacher of A Course in Miracles, or a therapist or a healer, unless you remember that there's no real difference between you and the people you're giving these ideas to, you're not going to get it.
Wow.
And also, the only way to release your fear of teaching or your fear of healing, the only way to release your fear of teaching or healing is to remember that we are all equal in our need. If you're like, oh, well, I'm a teacher of A Course in Miracles and I'm a therapist and I don't need it, but they do, then you are going to have guilt about teaching and healing and you're going to sabotage. You're going to put up roadblocks. Okay? So, teachers and healers, remember, you don't have something that others don't. If you believe that, then you're going to put up roadblocks and sabotage to being the teacher and the healer that you are. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel guilty about that belief that you have something that other people don't have, that they need. You'll feel guilty about being a teacher. And so the only thing that releases me from my fear of teaching A Course in Miracles is me realizing that I don't have anything that they don't have. And by me realizing exactly what my need is, exactly what their need is, and we are exactly the same. No order of difference between teacher and pupil, a healer or a patient. There's no difference whatsoever. Zero. And until I accept that, I'm going to have guilt and fear and self-consciousness about being a teacher or a healer of A Course in Miracles or whatever. Until I remember there's no order of difference between teacher, pupil, healer, patient. And so I really need to release my fear of teaching and my fear of healing. And that's the only way to do it, is equality. Equality. That's it. Otherwise, I'm going to feel very self-conscious, and otherwise, I'm going to teach a class or do a therapy session or whatever, and then I'm going to be like, did they get something? Did you get something out of it? What did you get out of it? I need to see what you got out of it in order for me to feel good enough as a teacher healer. And then I'm going to give up. So it says, unless we share our lessons and realize that we are all alike in the learning process, then you are going to give up. And you're going to give up on your purpose of being a teacher and a healer, which you are. And you'll give up in your process of being the pupil or the patient. If you're a pupil or a patient and you believe that the one who's your therapist and your teacher has something more than you, then you're going to give up as a patient or a pupil. You'll be like, well, I never have what they have, so plus it costs too much money, so fuck it. So unless we, teacher and pupil, therapist and patient, realize that we are all alike in the learning process, meaning we are all in the same order of learning, which means unless we realize that we share our lessons, then we're going to lack conviction and we're going to give up. We're going to give up as teachers, and we're going to give up as patients and pupils. We're going to give up. We're going to go like, F it. I'll just go with the worldly program of distraction and pleasure, and whatever happens, happens. So Course in Miracles is saying that that we've got to remember that we are all in the same order, we are all alike in the learning process. Okay, I've got to learn that as a teacher and a healer, but I also have to learn that as a pupil and a patient. I am a pupil and a patient, and I am a teacher and a healer, and we are all alike in the learning process. Whenever we put those like, well, I'm this and you're that, and I'm this and you're that, then we go down. we won't learn, and we won't experience healing.
Wow.
And so, and you know, and what it's going for here is that it's trying to set it up where the teachers and the healers, meaning those who have heard a call to share the truth with others, the whole goal here is that those who've been called to share those ideas, those higher ideas of love and truth, that they would stop feeling self-conscious, that they would stop feeling afraid to share them. This is the only way. That's the goal here. Yes?
This part about unless they share their lessons or they lack conviction reminds me of the teacher's manual, that the teacher of God has learned that he does not want anything that he cannot give away.
Yes.
Why would he?
Yeah.
Because he has learned that if he doesn't give it away, he can't keep it.
Right.
So if you're not giving it away, this truth,
Yes.
then you're going to start lacking conviction
Exactly. And
and being weakened.
teachers of truth, why are you afraid to give it? Why? What are the excuses? Well, I don't have a good enough wine, fine. I don't look good enough. And there's, and my favorite. Oh, there's so many other good Course in Miracles teachers. Oh, there's so many other good teachers. No, the world doesn't need another one.
One of many human symptoms.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't have the time, and I'm not as good as Marianne Williamson. And look, I mean, the world's got Marianne Williamson. Who needs me?
Oh
Whatever. What is your excuse? What are your excuses? But the truth is that that the only way for you to learn it is to teach it, according to A Course in Miracles. If you say you want to learn these ideas, Okay, do you want to learn these ideas?
Yes.
Okay, well, of Course in Miracles, it says the only way to learn them is to share them. And so, but we're like, no, but the world doesn't need any more teachers, and I'm not like Marianne Williamson, and I'm not like, I'm not like Carrie and Greg, and so these are our excuses for why we are not sharing these ideas. The Course in Miracles says, but unless you share them, you're not going to learn them. The only way to learn A Course in Miracles ideas is to share them. And to share these ideas means to be a teacher, which means to be a healer. And so, the title of this section is called The Devoted Teacher. So this is about the people who want to learn. If you want to learn this, guess what? That means you have to be a teacher. That means you have to be a devoted teacher. What's a devoted teacher? That means a teacher who's not like, oh, it's up to me, it's on me. I have to figure out what to say. I have to figure out what to do. I have to figure out how to do it. I have to say it, how to teach it. A devoted teacher goes like this. I want to learn it, so I guess that means I got to share it. And okay, so what makes sense for me as a way to share it? Oh, I guess that's the way I gotta do it. And a devoted teacher goes, I have to share it in order to learn it, so I'm gonna share it. And I'm gonna stop giving myself those excuses about why I can't share it. And I'm gonna do it in whatever way makes most sense to me, in which way is pleasurable for me and brings me joy. Whether that's this, or through art, or through writing, or through the work I do, or whatever. The Course in a devoted teacher is someone who's like, I will share it because that's the only way I can learn it, and so I'm gonna do it despite all of the things I tell myself about why I'm not worthy to do it.
Wow.
That's a devoted teacher. A devoted teacher is someone who's devoted to learning. That's what a devoted teacher is. And a devoted teacher is someone who knows, like, well, I can't learn it until I teach it, so I guess I gotta teach it. And then you share it. And teaching means demonstrating. Teaching means sharing. It doesn't mean I've studied like this and then I'm blah blah. Teaching means demonstrating. Teaching means sharing in whatever way is most pleasurable and enjoyable for you, despite all your egos telling you, well, there's so many people who do it better than you. Who needs you? The world has Marianne Williamson. Who needs you? Right? Or, whatever. The world has Toni Morrison. Who needs you? So a devoted teacher is someone who's like, well, I can't learn it unless I demonstrate it and share it, so what's the way that feels best for me to share it? Okay, let me do it, despite whatever my ego tells me about why I shouldn't. That's a devoted teacher. So, and then remember, a devoted teacher is also somebody who knows that there is no difference between them and whom they are sharing it with. No difference. No difference. There's no difference between you as the pupil and the one who's sharing it with you, and there is no difference between you, who is the one sharing it, and the one who is receiving it. No difference. And until we accept that, then we're going to feel self-conscious about sharing and receive it. If I think I'm different from the teacher I'm receiving from, then I'm not going to receive it from them. If I'm comparing myself with the one who's sharing it with me, the one who temporarily knows more than me, then I'm not going to receive it. I'm going to be like, well, that's them. If I had all their money and power and fame and whatever, I'm sure I'd be happy too. I'm sure if I was Marianne Williamson, I'd be able to do these ideas great too. If you believe that you are different from the teacher, then you're not going to be able to receive the benefit of their teaching. If you think you as the teacher are different from the ones you are giving it to, then you are not going to be able to benefit from your teaching as well. So what is the goal here? Is this. It is the equality of the giver and the receiver. That we are all alike in the learning process. The only reason I am teaching this is because I need it. Okay? All right. So how are we doing on time? All right. So, yes.
Can you say that again, what you were just saying about the equality part of it?
Yes. That the equality of the equality where we're all alike in the learning process. We are all alike in the learning process. Okay? You may tell yourself, and so it's the defenses against learning and the defenses against healing come from the authority problem, which is like this. We're different. I'm the teacher, I'm different from you, my pupil, or my patient. Or I'm the pupil or patient, I'm different from you, the teacher or the healer. Those differences keep us from learning. Those differences keep us from healing. There is no differences in the learning process. So as a teacher of truth, as a healer of truth, if you believe that you are somehow different from the one you are giving truth to, then you are going to not advance or not fulfill your function as a teacher or a healer. And as someone who's wanting or needing healing or truth, if you think you are different from the one who is offering you the healing or the truth, then you are not going to really benefit.
Because you feel guilty?
Because you're accepting the one premise that keeps healing from happening. The one premise that keeps healing from happening is the premise of inequality. You have something I don't have. I have something you don't have. That's what we're suffering from. Inequality. That's the problem. That's the manifestation of separation in action. And the Course in Miracles is like you only have what you give. Giving and receiving are the same. You only have what you give in your perception. If you want to have awareness, if you want to have enlightenment, if you want to have healing, Course in Miracles says you've got to give it. Because only as you give it do you realize, oh, I had it all along. So equality of having and giving and receiving, that is a premise of healing in A Course in Miracles. So, and this is important for teachers and healers. What's the title of this section? The Devoted Teacher or the Devoted Healer. Okay, so that's important here. And unless you realize the equality of giving and receiving, then you as a teacher, you are going to feel self-conscious about giving and teaching and you won't do it. And that is a problem. Okay? What's the problem? You're a teacher, you're a healing, but you're not doing it. You're not teaching, you're not healing, you're not offering the ideas that you want to learn and to accept. Why? Because you're self-conscious. You're afraid. You're forgetting that only as you give it do you receive it. You're feeling self-conscious. You're thinking, oh, it's coming from me, so it got to be good. You're forgetting, no, it doesn't come from you. It's coming from God. So let it go and stop being concerned about it. You know, as long as you're being concerned about it, then you're not going to be able to give it. You're going to produce roadblocks to sharing it because you think it comes from you. But eventually you're going to go, it's not coming from me anyway. No matter what kind of preparation I do, as soon as I open my mouth, it's a whole different thing that comes out. Until you have that acceptance, you're going to produce roadblocks to teaching and healing. And the moment you go, well, it's not me anyway, so it doesn't matter what kind of preparation I have, or what kind of day I've had, or how I look, or how I prepared, it doesn't matter anyway, because what comes out has nothing to do with my preparation or how I feel, how I look. Then you will release your fear of teaching. And as you release your fear of teaching and you let it come through you fearlessly, then you will accept your healing. Okay. we're talking about the devoted teacher. Okay? So it says, if a salesman must believe in the product they sell, then how much more must a teacher believe in the ideas which the teacher professes? Okay? So a good teacher needs what? They need to believe in the idea they're professing. Just like a good salesman needs to believe in the product they're selling, right? If you are a salesman of the vacuum cleaner, this particular vacuum cleaner, then if you want to be a good salesman, you got to believe in the vacuum cleaner, right?
We need a vacuum right away.
We do need a vacuum. I know. See, no coincidence why they came up. Yeah. Yes.
So to be a teacher, do you have to believe, or can you just prefer to side with the ideas? And
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you want to be a teacher of A Course in Miracles, then you got to believe in the ideas that you're professing. Okay? I mean, and you wouldn't want to be a teacher of A Course in Miracles unless you believed in those ideas, right? Right?
I mean, I guess it's semantics about what you mean by believe.
In other words, okay, so forget about that.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to be a salesman, aren't you going to be a better salesman if you believe in the product you sell?
You would be.
Okay, you would be.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But he's saying that a teacher of A Course in Miracles or a teacher of love and truth is a teacher or a salesman, okay, a salesman of truth, a salesman of these ideas, not only needs to meet the condition of, I believe in the ideas I'm professing, but the teacher of truth, a healer through A Course in Miracles, also needs to meet another condition to be a good salesman. Okay? You want to be a good salesman of, let's say, A Course in Miracles or whatever. Okay? You want to be a good salesman of A Course in Miracles?
Yes.
Too? Okay, great. So one condition is you got to believe in the ideas of A Course in Miracles. Okay, great. That's one. Second one is you got to believe in the people to whom you're giving those ideas. Oops. Uh-oh. Now I realize why I've not been a good salesman of A Course in Miracles. I believed in the ideas of A Course in Miracles. I just didn't believe in the people I was selling them to.
They're not going to want this product.
Whereas to be a good salesman of a vacuum cleaner, you can believe in the vacuum cleaner, all the way, from soup to nuts, whatever. But to be a good salesman of a vacuum cleaner, you don't have to believe in the people you're selling the vacuum cleaner to, right? Well, it's a little different when you're talking about selling the ideas of truth. If you want to sell the ideas of A Course in Miracles, you got to believe in the ideas of A Course in Miracles. You have to also believe in the people that you're selling it to.
What do you have to believe about them?
Well, it says you have to believe in the students to whom you offer the ideas. So in other words, I have to believe in the ideas of A Course in Miracles, but I have to also see them as innocent and worthy.
And the next paragraph tells us a lot more what we have to believe in.
Yeah, exactly.
You read ahead.
He read ahead.
I read ahead. Only one paragraph.
Of course he did.
Only one paragraph.
Okay.
Right.
Right. So, in other words, well, listen, you are a teacher, you are a healer, you are selling something, okay? But it's different than selling a vacuum cleaner. You're selling ideas of love. You are love. You're innocent. There is no sin. You deserve it all. You're entitled to miracles. You deserve healing. You're innocent. You're not guilty just because you made some mistakes. You still deserve love and happiness and abundance, even though you made mistakes. That's what we're selling as teachers of truth. And so, if you want to sell these ideas, then you got to believe in the ideas. I believe in A Course in Miracles, but I also believe in you, to whom I'm sharing these ideas. And this goes for any loving idea system that you're sharing with others as teachers of truth and love. It doesn't have to be A Course in Miracles. It could be any other spiritually loving, true belief system. And so it says, paragraph 4. It says, you could not be afraid to teach unless you still believe that interaction means loss and that learning means separation. So in other words, you wouldn't be afraid to share or to sell, as the metaphor here goes, these ideas of the truth, of love, unless you still believe that sharing the ideas of love, sharing the ideas of Course in Miracles, sharing these ideas of truth means loss. I wouldn't be afraid to share these ideas of love and truth and abundance unless I believed that sharing these ideas of love and truth would entail loss for me.
Wow.
And I have been afraid to share these ideas. Why? Because I have believed that if I share these ideas, I'm going to lose.
Wow.
Because, well, if I share these ideas, especially if I do them on Facebook live stream that goes all over the world, that some people will criticize me for it. Or some people who listen will think I'm crazy and I will lose because of that. Some people will judge me and I will lose because of that. Maybe I'm afraid to share these ideas because somebody might be offended when I say there is no sin, and maybe they might try to kill me.
Whoa, girl.
And I have absolutely 100% had to face all my fears of sharing these ideas.
Wow.
Because of my belief that sharing these ideas will produce loss for me.
Woo.
How about you? What are your fears of loss in sharing your ideas of love and truth that you want to accept? What are the reasons why you have not shared the ideas that you want to learn? Wow.
You want them emailed or just a hard copy mailed in?
Yeah. I just want you to ask yourself that question, because it's saying that we're afraid to teach. Well, it's important to look at why we're afraid to share these ideas. Why is it important? Because until you share these ideas, you're not going to learn them. So, of course, this section is saying that learning means sharing. Well, it's like, I want to learn A Course in Miracles, but I don't want to share it. I want to learn these ideas, but I certainly don't want to share them with people. Anybody relate to that? Okay, no. Carrie says no. Okay. Right. So, okay, are you telling me that if I want to learn these ideas, I've got to share them, I got to extend them? Okay, I don't like that, because I'm afraid to share these ideas. I've been afraid to share these ideas because if somebody hears me sharing them, then they're going to fill in the blank, murder me,
Oh my God.
cut me off, call me crazy, think I'm crazy, blah, blah, blah. So many reasons. And it's asking us to look at our fears around that, because there's only one way to learn these ideas, and just to share them. And I hate hearing that. I would rather hear that, oh, Anna, you could study A Course in Miracles in private and totally embody them and have all the manifestations of them. And I would rather have that. I don't want you to tell me that in order for me to embody them and experience them, I'm going to have to share them. You want me to share these ideas with the world? Don't you know what happens to people who share these ideas? Especially, if you have a family like I do, where if you share these ideas publicly, then, so...
An honor killing.
Yes, they might, to preserve the honor of our family, we have to kill her.
Oh my God.
Oh well. It's just the way it is. I've had, clients from Saudi Arabia who told me in order, I could be killed. My family could be killed if I talk to you. If I even am caught engaging in these ideas, sharing these ideas with you. And I was like, whoa. And I thought I had it bad, They were like, oh, I could be killed and my family could be killed. Whoa. and so it's scary, to hear it, it can be, and that's why it's saying we're afraid to share, we're afraid to be what we are, we're afraid to share these ideas, we're afraid to demonstrate them. And so because we're afraid to share them, we're afraid to learn them, because why? Because we're afraid to teach them, we're afraid to share them, because we believe that we will lose. And we are afraid of that. But then it's saying, but the only way to really embody them and accept them and learn them is to share them. Why? Because sharing them strengthens them. Something that only you believe by yourself and nobody, you only share it with yourself, you hold it to yourself. It doesn't have any strength in your mind. So if you want that idea to have more strength in your mind, you're going to have to share it. But here you need to look at what your fears of sharing it. You believe it entails loss. And I do. That's not hidden in my world. It took a lot of courage for me to do Facebook live streaming. A lot of courage. So yeah.
I was going to just ask you what your secret was to obviously overcoming the fear that you admit you have. I mean, you've been doing this publicly for 30 years, so.
Well, I refused the friend request of some of my family members, for starters. Be honest with you. It wasn't like, oh, no loss, oh, mom, but, it was like, I'm not, I went unfriend. That's how I started. So just to be honest with you, that's how I handled that fear to begin with a few years ago. I said no. I went through all the family members of my Facebook thing. I went click, unfriend, and had to deal with them. Go, you unfriended me, and that's what I had to do at first to help me. Anyway, so that's what I had to do, and and then just do it. I took that risk. Now, when I went to New York for a family reunion recently, and I had lots of family members going, I watch you every week. You're so inspiring. You heal me. It's so helpful. I love it. It's so calming. It's so relaxing. I was like, that was my fear of loss. My fear of loss is if my family heard these ideas of me sharing these ideas, I would lose. And it was the exact opposite. They were like, I'm so inspired. It's so helpful. It's so wonderful. Thank you so much. And so that was one of my demonstrations of, so it says, you could not be afraid to teach unless you still believe that teaching means loss and that learning means separation. So I had to face my fear of loss from teaching. Okay, so as I faced that fear, then I realized that, teaching doesn't mean loss. I still believe teaching means loss. And all teachers have to face that fear. Anybody who's going to share what their thing with the world, they have to face their fear of loss. Everyone does. It's an act of courage. Every teacher or demonstrator, everyone who's just said, I'm going to share what's important to me with the world. I'm going to share it. Everyone who's had to do that has had to face their fear of loss.
And does this always stay that way? Do you always have to keep facing it?
No. You don't have to keep facing it all the time. Just like me, like as I've done that over the years, I now I have less fear of loss. Now I have family members who are like, I watch you every week. It's great. It's inspiring. It's calming. It's relaxing. Thank you. Blah blah blah. So, it's gotten easier. Now I don't have as much fear to do that. But it took a lot to overcome that fear of loss in sharing what I need to share. Why? So I can learn it. That's what A Course in Miracles is saying. In order for you to learn these ideas, in order for you to learn the ideas of love and truth and equality and power and abundance, you gotta share them. For them to be strong in your own mind, you have to share them. That's how it happens. But you're going to have to overcome your fear of loss. You're going to have to overcome your fear of loss. And it is just a fear. Because once you do push through that fear of loss and you share them anyway, despite your fear that people may go, you're crazy. I reject you. I'm not going to listen to you. You're out of my will. You're out of the family. We don't want you anymore. As you overcome your fear of that, to continue to share what is true for you, what is meaning for you, what you want to believe, what happens is that there's greater abundance. Now you have people coming in going, I love you, I support you, I want to help you, blah, blah, blah. It's so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is what's on the other side of the fear to teach, which means to demonstrate, which means to share the ideas that you yourself want to embody, that you yourself want to strengthen in your own self. Why? Because they make you happy. All right, so good question. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to stop here for today. This is a very long section, so it may take 2 or 3 sessions to do. So we're going to stop here. It's already 8:30. And so now we're going to do announcements and then an integration meditation. So thank you for watching, all you guys. I appreciate your questions and your comments, and I appreciate you watching so much. This is for you who are just like us, who are here to share what has value and meaning for you, so that you can accept it for yourself and benefit the world. That's what you're here to do. And this is what you have to overcome to do that. And this is the rewards for that. All right, so good job. All right, so questions or comments or anything like that? Yes.
I would just like to say I am full of infinite gratitude for you, for overcoming your courage and teaching in the way that you do, because it is infinitely helpful to the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you who've known me for a long time know what I've had to overcome in terms of my fear of sharing, especially when it comes to live that goes around the world. So you of all people know what I've had to overcome in relative to sharing the ideas that I want to accept and embody.
Thank you so much for overcoming your fears.
And thanks for helping me to do that. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. And yes, and Les says, teach others with the same love and respect as you would have them teach you. Beautiful. And Luza says, thank you. Thank you, Luza. Demi, to embody course. Yes. Beautiful. All right. So guys, we've gone a little bit over. So if you need to turn it off, if you need to turn me off, so you won't be the first or the last. And so announcements are, I do 2 live streams a week, Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 8:30 Mountain Daylight Time. And on Mondays, that's at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. And on Wednesdays, as here, I do Course in Miracles, the Complete and Annotated Edition. And that you can find all of my classes on my Facebook stream or by going to YouTube, my YouTube channel. I'm trying to go to YouTube Live instead of Facebook. So go to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe. When I have 1,000 subscribers, then I can do YouTube Live very easily from my phone. And that's what I'm going for. So help me to do that. YouTube seems to be a better platform for doing live streams. So anyway, so all of my classes are available on YouTube. Classes, meditations, readings, all that is available on my YouTube channel. And my last name is spelled Kujawa. So go to Anna Kujawa, go to my YouTube channel and hit subscribe. And thank you. Awesome. And Demi says, and on fire. Ha. Same to you, girl. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do the integration meditation. So for about 5 to 7 minutes, we're going to take these ideas and we're going to use them. All right? We're going to listen to the music, and we are going to use these ideas. So, unless you are operating heavy machinery, close your eyes and take a breath. All right. So, here we go. So I want you to just breathe and feel these ideas, feel the truth, feel how the truth feels in your mind, in your body, in your heart, in your emotions. How does the truth feel as you listen to these ideas? And as you listen to these ideas in a circle of like-minded mighty companions, how does it feel? Breathe it in. So now I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I feel like I have a calling to speak and to share the ideas that I have been learning, that have been healing me, that have been inspiring me? Do you feel a calling to share those ideas and those experiences with the world? Have you felt a calling to do so? And if so, I want you to just feel that feeling of being called, of having an urge to share these loving, empowering, healing ideas that you have been being inspired by and healed by. Take a breath. If the answer is yes, I have been feeling calling, then I want you to ask yourself, what is it that my ego's been telling me about the reasons why I can never do that, or why nobody would want that, or why I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't share these ideas? Why is it? In what way has your ego been telling you, nobody needs you to do that? Or here's the reasons why you could never do that, or why you should never do that. You're not a very good speaker. You're not a very good writer. There's already plenty of people writing and speaking and teaching and demonstrating these ideas, and nobody needs you. What are the reasons your ego's been giving you about why you shouldn't do it? Be honest with yourself. I want you to tell yourself, everything I just heard from my ego, that's my authority problem. That's me believing I am the authority and I am God. That's me thinking I gotta make it up myself. I I gotta figure it out myself. That's me thinking it's coming from me. That's just my authority problem, which is the root of all my problems. And that's just me thinking that these ideas and my desire to share these ideas is coming from me. I gotta figure out how to do it. I gotta make it good. I gotta make people want it. I gotta make sure people hear me, and I gotta make sure people want it through me. I gotta make sure I do it good. That is the authority problem. I have an authority problem. That's just my authority problem, which is the root of all my problems. And take a breath. Now I want you to tell yourself the truth. Only as I share these ideas will I come to accept them and believe them. And so I have to share them despite all my judgments on myself. All my judgments of why nobody wants to hear me. I gotta do it if I'm gonna accept it, believe it for myself. I gotta share it. So, I want you now to ask your higher self. Higher self, I gotta share it in order to accept it for myself. So, will you help me? Will you show me the way I can share these ideas in a way that's the most easy, pleasurable, fun for me? Will you show me? Will you help me to do that? Will you help me to remember that all I gotta do is share it in the most fun, pleasurable, easy way for me? Will you please help me to overcome my self-consciousness, my judgments? Will you help me? Will you give me the opportunities to share these ideas in a way that's easy and pleasurable and fun for me? You said you would. So I say yes. I ask you to provide the opportunities to share these ideas in the most pleasurable, easy, fun way for me so that I can learn them. Take a breath. And higher self, will you also help me to remember that there's no difference between me and the people I'm sharing this with? Just like there's no difference between the people who I heard it from first. Will you help me to remember that there's equality between me and them and me? They need to give it, I need to receive it. I need to give it, they need to receive it. We're equal in our need, no comparison. Help me, because I've been comparing. My comparison has made me shut down and not give and not receive. Please help me remember that teacher and pupil, patient and therapist and healer are the same. We're equal in the same order of learning. They need to give and I need to learn, and I need to give and they need to learn. All the same. Our need is equal. Help me to remember that higher self, so that I'll give and then I receive. Help me. You said you would, and I'm saying yes. Thank you, higher self, for providing the opportunities to share these ideas so that I can learn them. Thank you, Spirit and higher self, for bringing me to the people who need to give what I need to receive, what I need to learn. Thank you. Thank you for your consistency, Spirit, higher self. Spirit, I give to you all my fears of sharing these ideas that I need to learn. I give to you all my fears of sharing. I give to you all my fears of teaching. I give to you all my fears of being the healer that you said I am. I give to you all my fears of teaching. I give to you all those fears so that I can finally share what I need to share in order to be healed myself. I give them all to you. Thank you for taking them from me. Spirit, higher self, I want to take my place among the healers of mankind. I really do. I've done everything else. That's the only thing I haven't done. I have done everything else besides that, and I am unfulfilled. And so I'm ready to take my place among the healers of the world so I can be healed. I'm ready, and I give to you all my insecurities and all the ways I'm self-conscious and all the ways I'm holding back, all the excuses I give myself for not sharing what I want to learn. I give them all to you. Show me that they're not true. Thank you for healing all my excuses and my fears and my self-consciousness and my insecurities and my worries and my self-doubt. Thank you for healing them and correcting them and showing me the truth that I am the light of the world. I am needed. I am necessary. My part is necessary for the healing of mankind. Thank you for helping me to remember that fact. Thank you for helping me not fall for the lie that nobody needs me. There's already plenty enough good teachers out there. Nobody needs me. Thank you for helping me not fall for that lie. Thank you for helping me to take my place among the healers of the world and experience the fulfillment that only comes from that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beautiful. Teachers of truth, teachers of love and healing, are you ready to take your place among the healers of the world? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? And if you are, say yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah!
All right, awesome. Good job, guys. Good job, Les and Bill and Juana. Oh, thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate you all so much. All right. You heard your call, teachers and healers of the world. You heard your call. All right. You are not alone. I appreciate you so much, and may the course be with you.